Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request from Shawn. Thank you so much for that. I think it's the last one he sent for now. He had sent one for me and Stuntman Mark to do a live commentary on Shaun of the Dead, which that's been uploaded onto YouTube. It won't be in the video section. You have to hit the live, on the YouTube channel. There's videos homepage. There's a live. You click on live and you'll see the Shaun of the Dead commentary. Because they don't put them in the video section. They put them in the live section, obviously because it was live. But that's what he had requested. And then a commentary on Ghostbusters, the original, which was a lot of fun to watch. This one was of Beetlejuice. He requests this in October for the Halloween season, but I could not get to it until now. I'm trying to get to these requests as soon as I can, but thank you for your kindness and your patience. Better late than never. And he wanted me to repeat myself. No, he didn't want me. He didn't want me to repeat myself. He's like, I have a bad habit of repeating myself just how it is. It's always been that bad quirk that I can't get rid of no matter how much I try. But Beetlejuice 1988 commentary. If anyone that wants to request any other type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, live streams, tier lists, rankings, video game playthroughs for an hour or full playthrough, movie reviews, re-reviews, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And you know what? Let's get right into it, because pause the beginning, 3, 2, 1, pressing play, and here we have the logo here. Day-o, he said day-o. Yeah, coming, I wanna go home. Boom, 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 boom. I thought that was such a cool, good way to start. It gave like a nice vibe to it where it seems friendly, the day-o, but it has that darker tone to it, which works in this mix of comedy, horror elements put together, and a wonderful score by Danny Elfman. Plus, it's a nod to what we'll see later with the Day-O scene. Of course, Day-O, and that is sung by Harry Belafonte. Hey, Mr. Tullyman, Tullyman. Well, we'll get to that later. But yeah, Danny Elfman did a wonderful job on the score here. Of course, he's worked with Tim Burton quite a few times, most notably Batman and Batman Returns after this, but many other films. And such a great score, classic score. I remember there was a number of movie trailers after this that would use pieces of this music, especially if it's supposed to be more of this kind of rambunctious kind of adventure flavor to it, or maybe like a little bit of a horror flavor, but not downright scary horror, but more like fun horror. Music of this, your music hits a spot when later on people use it for movie trailers, like James Horner when he did Aliens. The Trap Bishop's Countdown would be used a lot. I thought this was a cool transition where it's showing the town, but eventually we're going to see the model, and here we have the model set. When you watch it for the first time, you may not think of it because you don't even know there is a model set. So you may think, oh, there's something, and then it's revealed that it's a model because you see the spider. Like, what the fuck? So I thought that was a nice transition, nice idea. And of course, again, setting up an element that we'll be seeing later on, because it's where Beetlejuice will be in this model town. And it'll be pretty prominent in the attic here, be a safe spot or a hiding spot when they're ghosts. So now we have our 2 stars here, Alec Baldwin, when he's not shooting people and killing people on sets. And then we have Geena Davis. Alec Baldwin, of course, will later be in The Hunt for Red October. I know he got a lot fatter and a lot, I don't know. Alec Baldwin just seems like one of those guys that I would never want to talk to. He just seems like a really asshole. I don't know. Just the vibe he gives is just a dickish quality. But he does a good job here. He does a good job here. And honestly, I think it's one of his better roles. But he does a really good job. And then you have Geena Davis, who had been in The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. And of course, will later be in The Long Kiss Goodnight and a variety of... I mean, I always liked Geena Davis, always been a fan. Sally, she hasn't done a whole lot. I think she was in... The Exorcist TV show, I think. Don't quote me on that. But Sally, just haven't seen a lot of her. But I know a lot of actresses, when they get older, they kind of get out of the spotlight, and either because of their looks or they're very, the vain, because they know there don't be people judging them because they don't look the same. But then Sally, a lot of them try to do all this shit with putting shit in their face, or which they shouldn't. Age gracefully, naturally. Trust me, it'll look better. Right, there's some people, like if you look at, who was that? I think Bridget Fonda, if you search her up, you wouldn't recognize her. But, I didn't always liked her, Geena Davis. This, The Fly, and Long Kiss Goodnight would be my 3 favorite performances from her. But they work well as the couple. Now, of course, it's directed by Tim Burton, which he had done Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was a nice surprise hit. And because that was a hit, studios were more willing to work with him on a next project. He had offers. I think he was offered Hot to Trot, that movie where it was eventually made with Bobcat Goldthwait with a talking horse, which I forget who they had for the original voice, but then they redid the voice with John Candy as the talking horse. It's Bobcat Goldthwait with a talking horse. I mean, it's as good as it sounds. But eventually this script came about. Now the script originally was a darker movie. It was a much darker film. There wasn't much comedy. The car crash they eventually get into, I think, was a lot grislier. Like arms being crushed and like much more of a scary crash. Beetlejuice, I think the original draft, he was like more of a winged demon and he wanted to kill the humans. So like Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, to kill them and murder them, not just scare them. I just not Winona Ryder because he wanted to have sex with the character, not marry her. So it's definitely much more R-rated affair, but this, they definitely toned it down. I don't know why, something about this, I like this old guy. Just this idea of trust, like it's such a quaint small town. He's just talking to himself, and he's willing to let this guy go into the store, take what he wants, leave the money, believe that he left the proper money. Well, actually, I guess he's the barber shop, so it's not his store, to be fair. But I just mean, like, you don't see anyone there, so maybe he owns both. But it's such a quaint small town. I'm wondering whose fucking dog this is running around with no damn collar or leash. So I would say get that motherfucker and charge him with murder. Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, control your animals, folks. Put a collar and leash on the bitch. Just, I mean, it's like the dog did this on purpose. Now, granted, it doesn't seem like a long fall, but yeah, I think, the impact, all that stuff. Um, Plus, maybe it helps if people didn't see the trailers. Maybe they'd be wondering something's going on, and then eventually they realize that they're dead. This is a fun little dad here with the fingers right here. Just like birthday candles. That's a fun gag there. And this movie just so creative. One of the things I really liked about the film, very inventive. This idea of this almost like purgatory, like you can't go out, so now you're in this wasteland with danger. So it sells the audience early on the fantasy element. It gives you a sense of why they can't leave and how dangerous it is, but also gives you a bit of tidbit for later. For, eventually that's how Beetlejuice will die, by using this thing. Handbook for which I believe you could buy a book with that cover on it. You can find books that have that cover. I guess you can't read either. Diseased. Handbook for the recently deceased. You mean deceased? But it's an interesting take on the afterlife. Like, you're not automatically in heaven. You're not automatically in hell. So you're in this kind of in between where time doesn't really occur as normal as others. Because it seems like it's been like a day, but then the next thing they know, the house is already being sold and all this other stuff. And then what do when this place you called home gets completely changed, rearranged, obliterated with these people that seem just rich upper echelon douches? And then our first taste of Beetlejuice. Very well played by Michael Keaton. One of his best roles. Interesting they spell it this way. I guess maybe an ode to the star Beetlejuice. But that's also the point, because people go Betelgeuse. So that's the point of it. But yeah, Michael Keaton did a great job with this. Now, before Tim Burton wanted Sammy Davis Jr., which I don't know why he wanted Sammy Davis Jr. That would have been a very, very different movie. And yeah, Michael Keaton was the better pick. By this point, he had done some comedies. He had been in Gun Ho. What was it? Mr. Mom. Night Shift. Clean and Sober, I think he had done, and he showed that he could do. I'm trying to remember when Clean and Sober had come out now. Was it the year before this or same? I can't remember now. I'm not sure he had done Clean and Sober yet. Because that was late 80s. Can't remember the year. But that's a very good performance. And then eventually, obviously, liked working with Tim Burton and vice versa. Eventually got Michael Keaton for Batman, which people complained about, but eventually found out it was a great choice. Now, this film was a big hit, did fairly well, and it's what helped him get Batman. I think he had wanted to do Batman. Well, there was talks of him doing Batman because he wasn't really into the, he wasn't really sure about the comics, but then, was shown certain comics and stuff and goes, hey, maybe this could work. But I don't know, it's a big property, but eventually, hey, Warner Brothers liked that this was a hit, and then the last film, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, was a hit, and also they were relatively well reviewed, so okay, it seems like this guy knows what he's doing. Give him a little bit of a chance to do Batman, and then it worked out for the best for them. Boo! Fuck Jeffrey Jones. He's a piece of fucking dog shit. I hope he dies and burns in hell. Fuck Jeffrey Jones. Sorry. But I'm not sorry. I'll say that. Fuck Jeffrey Jones. He's a piece of shit pedophile. Fuck him. Man, I'll say sorry. Random. I'm not sorry. Fuck it. Fuck him. Anytime I see him, I'll punch him in the face. So yeah, so the new family's coming in. Of course, Jeffrey Jones, who was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was starred in the film Mom and Dad Save the World, which came out a few years after this. I think he was in Sleepy Hollow. For those who don't know, Jeffrey Jones is a pedophile. Jeffrey Jones had child pornography. He was found with them. He's put on the sexual registry. I think he was. He should be. It's one of the reasons why he was technically not in the sequel, but he was in like claymation form. Which I'm like, why even what you should have done in the sequel was he died. That's it. But they win this whole thing where they show a claymation where it's Jeffrey Jones' face, and then he fucking plane crash, and then his character's in there. So he has no head, so you can't see it, but it's his character, having like its own little subplot. I'm like, why are you giving attention to this fucking character played by this vile piece of shit, horrific human being? One of the 800 things I hated about the sequel, but that's a whole other thing. Maybe someone requests a commentary or a live commentary, hopefully with someone. Maybe with Fabio or someone, I don't know. But, fuck Jeffrey Jones. Now, of course, the mom is Catherine O'Hara, who I always remember as the mom in Home Alone. Of course, she's done a lot of other stuff as well. And then the daughter, Lydia, is Winona Ryder, who I believe Tim Burton had saw her in the film Lucas and liked her in that. And would later be in Edward Scissorhands and Alien Resurrection. Now, this guy here, shaking up the cans, who's walked up the stairs beside Catherine O'Hara. He plays the character Ortho. Or is it Otho? I always fucked it up. Otho. For some I always think there's an R in it. Otho. That is Glenn Shaddix. This guy on the right here. Glenn Shaddix sadly passed away in 2010. I remember him in this movie. I also remember him in Demolition Man. He was the associate to... Okay, Wesley Snipes is the main bad guy, but then the upper echelon pretentious... Ooh, that's a cool makeup effect. Love that effect. And then the fact that they can't see it, so... Just a fun laugh. But yeah, the Glenn Shaddix was Associate Bob. He's the one who Dennis Leary at the end goes, "You look like a couch." Couch? So, Demolition Man in this movie, I always remember Glenn Shaddix in, but Dan Sally passed away in 2010. But I kind of like that. I like that there's these rules that, you think you're doing stuff, but, like, they can't be seen. Like I said, you didn't see tons of movies like this. It's a intriguing, dare I say, original idea. Catherine O'Hara is like... I will take you with me. This is the energy she has. I like the lighting they gave to Geena Davis in that one scene where it made her eyes seem a bit more scary and haunting. I don't know if it was they put makeup or something with the lighting. I don't know. I mean, headless person just running by, and you don't see that every day. But yeah, this was 1988. 1988 was a hell of a year for movies, man. I mean, for me personally, films I love: Bloodsport, Above the Law. You know, the introduction of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal. I know Van Damme had done stuff before, but Bloodsport really brought him into prominence. Above the Law. However I feel about Seagal nowadays, Above the Law I still really enjoy among some of his other early films. Rambo 3 I love. The Blob remake from 1988 I love. Die Hard. Classic. And then horror sequels. I love Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. It's my favorite. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood I liked. Fright Night Part 2 I liked. Hellbound Hellraiser 2 I liked. Phantasm 2 I liked. Ghoulies 2 I liked. Critters 2, the new course I liked. Is it the new or the main course? Well, Critters 2 I liked. Is it Ghoulies 2? Halloween 4 I liked. There's a lot of horror sequels in 88, and I like most of them. So, it's sad when you look at that year and then you look at this year, man. What a world of difference. Because you don't have that kind of fun horror movie or stuff, man. That's it looks like stop motion, which I'm always a sucker for that style. Well, not always, but usually I'm a sucker for that style. So it's something they don't really use a lot. I also like the idea of how when you're out there, it may seem like minutes, but you could be out there for hours or a lot longer, and it shows when they leave how you're able to progress the story here, but then, like, okay, we gotta do it quickly. So, like, eventually this place has to be completely renovated and looking different. Okay, we'll have our two characters, they go somewhere, and then because of this big time difference, they come back and, oh shit, everything's completely different and new. Now, of course, Tim Burton, like I say, we do Batman, Batman Returns, Ed Wood and Sleepy Hollow. I enjoyed both of those movies quite a bit. After that, I mean, Dumbo I never saw. Dark Shadows I thought sucked. Alice in Wonderland I was not a fan of. Planet of the Apes, one of his worst. Beetlejuice 2 was... No. Beetlejuice 2 I hate more. I take that back. I hate Beetlejuice 2 more than Planet of the Apes 2001 remake. Beetlejuice. That's his worst movie. It just like copies shit from this one. It wasn't that original or unique compared with the original. It's like, let's copy this. Let's copy them singing Deo. Let's copy pretty much the opening. Let's copy a bunch of shit. It ends with a fucking wedding and the goddamn worm. And are you fucking serious? This unoriginal horse shit. Lydia's now... She was gun-ho, dancing with the ghost, fine and dandy. She liked the dark shit. She liked this kind of stuff. That was the whole point of her fucking character. And now she has PTSD and is a fucking wannabe therapist. What the fuck? Like, did they not watch... Tim Burton directed the shit. Apparently they didn't watch their fucking first film. They forgot what kind of character Lydia was. Lydia liked this shit. She liked the dark, angsty, crazy shit. She was dancing with ghosts in the last scene of the fucking movie. Anna, Anna, jump in the line, line. If she's willing to, she was excited to go home and see ghosts and dance with a bunch of fucking football ghosts. So why the fuck would she have PTSD? Again, make it make sense. Fucking bullshit. People wonder why I'm so fucking cynical on movies today. Because they don't know how to fucking make them anymore. When you have you see this older stuff that's done so much better. Why do you think they keep going back to these goddamn franchises? Because they can't make new ones. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yelling, but they can't make new ones. So they keep going back to the fucking old ones. Plus they're hoping they make money in the theater, and that's what they desperately are hoping for. And to be fair, yes, they do make some original stuff, and it doesn't do anything at the theater, so then because of that, then they stop making them. Or they make less of them. But there's a lot of other reasons. Streaming. When they really jumped on the bandwagon of streaming during the pandemic, when perhaps maybe they shouldn't have, people got used to it. And they're like, you know what? I'll just stay on. Oh, that's a whole other conversation. Not to go off tangent on Beetlejuice, so that's a whole other conversation. Anyway. So this is the first time we actually get to see Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton. I wish they would have done an actual documentary on the... You know what? That's what I rather would have seen than a sequel, a documentary on this film. Why we still never received, never had a good physical media version of Beetlejuice, I do not know. The bells and whistles, full documentary, Michael Keaton, why not like all these people talking about it? They kind of done stuff on Batman. Like, dumbfounding me. It's dumbfounding. Especially when when that second one was coming out, I'm like, okay, this is a time. The second one's coming out. Sit down and talk about the first film. How was it making the first film? But apparently not. It's me being crazy, I guess. But whatever. Of course, Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis are not going to be in it because they're playing ghosts, and ghosts do not age. So why would you have old as ghosts in Beetlejuice 2? Unless you made some weird plot point where for some reason something screwed up and they age. I don't know. It'd be so over convoluted. It's like, nah. And man, that sequel made a lot of money, and I don't get why. I do not get why. You cannot tell me people are going to think about that movie in the future, Beetlejuice 2. I refuse to believe it. There's just no fucking originality in that movie. This though, this stuff here with how they're making this open with the bricks and make it look like a door, and then you don't see this other world where it's like a bureaucracy, and they treat it like a bureaucracy. You gotta do this, this, and this, and this is where they screwed up. He left the book. I would say I first saw this on VHS tape back in the day, and like a lot of people appreciated just how unique it was. The cast, especially Michael Keaton, did a wonderful job. The sense of humor, the unique makeup effects. Again, it didn't feel like a copy of like Ghostbusters or any other, films. It was just its own piece. I never understood like what was the point of him. Why did we need to see Jeffrey Jones comment on a house and how ugly it is? Like, what was the point of that? I never understood. Like, I guess they really thought it was a funny joke. But look how unique this stuff is. Like these people waiting. Obviously, they're like based on their deaths. So I guess they're lucky that they died drowning. Although that wouldn't that mean that their bodies would be more white and more pale and but I guess they got lucky. Just like I know we kind of get how she died, but I still don't get why she looks like someone Captain Kirk would fuck on Star Trek with that skin color. I think don't we find her like slit her wrists or something? But does that make you turn green? Maybe she dyed it. Maybe that's the thing. It's the like a makeup. You could dye your skin too, and your hair. I mean, well, maybe that was her hair, but maybe you could dye your skin. Unless maybe she dyed it for the fucking pageant. I don't know. But again, like I love the voodoo shrunken head guy. Which of course they had to have a shitload of those guys in the next one. Because you remember that? Yeah, that was cool. Oh, would I have 10 of them or 20 of them? Which, what was the guy's name? Bob? He was like the best character in the movie. But it's like, hey, you remember this? Yeah, well, we're going to show it to you again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, gotcha. I was, I hated Beetlejuice too. Beetlejuice, fucking. We're literally like this Burt guy. I love this fucking, this makeup here. Yeah, trying to quit. And then this, he can't talk, his mouth is sewed. And he has no eyelids, so he can't, like, do anything else. Just look at the, wow. This guy here, total roadkill. Again, just the mind that creates. Okay, who's going to greet these two at the door? Okay, well, have it be a guy that was run over by whatever I don't know, fucking semi truck, whatever, steamroller, whatever the fuck he ran over from. So he's got to go with these strings to to go along with them. And hey, he's thin enough. He would go over there, just like you know, foul him away too. Look at the set design too. They didn't even have this type of uniqueness in the sequel. And this right here with like the lighting, like the green, now you got the blue, and the way the floors are kind of going off kilter. It's up here, then down here. All they could gather was like a fucking Danny DeVito cameo. Now this is important information because these are who these two will become if the exorcism is performed successfully. So it seems like a one-off, not gag, but showcase of effects, but it's an important story point. Because again, if the exorcism is successful at the end, they're going to turn into those creatures. Again, to show the difference of time, now they show that the whole place has been completely renovated. We are home. I mean, it's not a bad looking place. I don't hate the look of this place. That's the thing, though. I don't hate the way this looks. Well, other than the sculptures. The sculptures are ugly as shit. Now, this lady here, her name is Sylvia Sidney as Juno. They're their caseworker. I was looking it up and I completely forgot that this old lady, she would be in another Tim Burton film much later on, and that is Mars Attacks. She played the grandma. The grandma of the lead kid, and she's listening to music, and the aliens are ready to kill her, but then the kid saves his grandma, and you find out the yodeling, you find out the yodeling kills the creatures. So I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was the same person, but okay, yeah. Or I did, I forgot. But, yeah. She's done a lot of stuff throughout, she did a lot of stuff throughout the years. I think she's passed away. But, this is the film I recognize her the most, is Beetlejuice. I was saying before, I'm still surprised, although I hate the sequel, how little, like, they didn't use much of Michael Keaton, just like in this, they didn't use much of him. You would think because the character got a bit more popular, Michael Keaton is definitely a more popular actor than he was at this time. Like, people knew of him. I did Mr. Mom and stuff, but after Batman and various other films, hell, he was what, the Vulture and Spider-Man Homecoming and stuff. I'm just surprised they didn't use him more. Which, I mean, at least would have been different. See more of him. Have the movie take place from his point of view. I actually would have preferred that if you had to do a sequel, because that would have been different. Would have been a different take. Would have been a different direction. Hell, make it more like the cartoon. Which, to be honest, I don't remember much of the cartoon. I remember seeing snippets of it. I think it was on ABC, I think. Don't quote me on it. I thought it was on ABC. Which is interesting because it was Beetlejuice and Lydia who become like kind of friends. Which is weird because if you watch this, I'm trying to remember, did they redo the story? So yeah, they did a good job with this fly. Yeah, Beetlejuice 89 started, 4 seasons. Um, sorry, I'm looking up the first episode. There's Robert Goulet. Rest in peace to him. Mostly known as a singer. I always remember him from a Simpsons episode where Bart started casino in his treehouse and he had Robert Goulet on and he's swinging his microphone. I think actually hits Bell House. Oh, I'm sorry, kid. But yeah, rest in peace to Robert Goulet. But sorry, just curious about. Yeah, 94 episodes, 4 seasons. Yeah, ABC. Seasons 1 through 3. I guess the fourth season was on Fox. Okay, so Beetlejuice gets a job babysitting to buy Lydia a present, but Netherworld babies are a bit more of a handful than Outerworld ones. Beetlejuice breaks the fourth wall at the beginning of the episode by asking the viewers for money, in addition to providing a backstory on how he and Lydia met. So, yeah, I guess they did stuff a bit differently here. In the TV series, he and Lydia are best friends. Beetlejuice is made out to be more of a prankster. Lydia is given a much quirkier but positive demeanor. Trying to find any more info on it. Oh, whatever. Because I don't remember. I haven't seen this show in forever. I mean, forever. And of course, this did get a Nintendo game, which honestly just seemed really shitty. The TV show Beetlejuice Complete Series on DVD Region 1 from Shout Factory. Warner Bros. Home Entertainment reissued the complete series on DVD to coincide with the theatrical release of Beetlejuice. Oh, couldn't put it on Blu-ray. You had to redo the on DVD. Even though it's when the second one came out, so like you can't put it on Blu-ray. Okay, you cheap bastards, cheap fucks. Anyway. Look how Lydia talks. And this is a person that's going to get PTSD and be a fucking therapist later. Give me a fucking break, dude. Give me a break. Piss and fuck off. Jesus Christ. Give me a fucking break. God damn, man. So in other words, so again, I would just look at it doesn't follow the movie. It's does its own bit of retcon to fit the show. Because yeah, it would be like, well, how the like, yeah, I try to force you to marry me and almost try to kill you and stuff or something like that, or well, force you to marry you. And I'll just be best friend. Yeah, you probably have to change that a bit. Again, there was a Nintendo game for this. To be fair, I haven't played much of it. I think I tried it once. I went, this seems like just shit, but that's just me. I'm sorry about it. It's not the movie. It's just The time, it's like midnight. It's like, sorry, just doing some stuff, rearranging while I'm trying to multitask. I do like the counter there. I do like the way the counter looks. Like, yeah, I kind of like the way the place looks now than it did back then. So I actually like the blue on the walls. That counter, I think, looks pretty cool. And yet, other than those ugly as fuck sculptures. And like when I say this film was a hit, it's not like this film was this $100 million or $200 million hit. Because films didn't cost as much back then. I mean, granted, the dollar is very different than the dollar of today, to be fair. But you have to keep budgets down somewhat, and you have to get more creative. You got to get more innovative. You got to get more unique. Instead of just throwing CGI onto every fucking thing and thinking it'll fix your problems. And most of the time, it doesn't fix your problems. At times, they make your problems worse. But I mean, I thought this was a really cool set decoration where the ground, because it's a model set, it can't be real glass. And what made sense is going to be this plastic stuff, like imitation grass type of. Like, I liked that. Same with. Okay, this has to be the table, so you have to dig into the wood of the table. Now that fragile thing is a mistake because think about how tiny they are. I mean, if they're this tall, then the thing is this tall. What kind of thing this tiny is going to have fragile on it? You know what I mean? But even then, like, it's a table. What fucking table is made of goddamn cardboard? I mean, I don't even know what that's meant to be, the fragile stuff. I don't even know what that's meant to be. Because I thought they were digging into the table that's on. Anyway. I wasn't even big on Michael Keaton's performance as Beetlejuice. At least not 100% in the sequel. He just seemed tired. He seemed like the deadbeat uncle you kind of cringe at. And you're drunk, dude. Go home and sleep it off. You overstayed the party. Compared to this, where you just feel the fire, the energy, the whoa, whoa, whoa. This has such quick pacing with this. Just firing all cylinders. His credentials. times. It gets funnier each time. Again, where was that fire? Where was that energy in the sequel? There was none of that in the sequel. Why? Why? I mean, because he's older, right? But goddamn, then don't play the fucking role. And that's crazy. We're 50 minutes in. So let's go back. Let's say 45-minute mark. He appeared. 45-minute mark. Pretty much halfway through the film, you get the one like truly like other. You had what 4 or so little nuggets. Him reading the newspaper, the TV, getting the fly. But it's like the one true scene he has, and he makes an impact. He makes an impact because, like, you look at the screen time, it's very minimal, but make every scene count. We're professional here. Nice fucking model. He just, oh man. He made it work. I mean, whether the stuff he was saying was ad lib or on the page, whichever it was, it worked well for that character. And again, the sequel just could not measure up to that. So on the right there with the red tie, that's Dick Cavett, who had his own talk show, interview show. Very interesting interview he did with Chuck Norris, where it stuck out in my mind because he talked about how he had like him or a friend of his met Steven Seagal and had was it a martial artist? No, I think it was a martial artist. It was a martial artist. He didn't know who it was, and how like treated him pretty badly. And Chuck's like, well, that guy must not be a martial artist. At least none of the people I know. And he's like, was it Steven Seagal? Was it? Because he had heard bad things about Seagal. But Chuck Norris said some good things about Van Damme. But this was like, I don't know, late 80s. Well, it had to be like early 90s interview with Chuck. But you can find it on YouTube. Interesting interview from back in the day. Of course, he was also in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 of the Dream Warriors, where Dick Cavett is interviewing Zsa Zsa Gabor. And then it becomes Freddy, like, who gives a fuck what you think? Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors was, 87? The year before this, so memorable moment. And now we're going to get to the big scene here. Day-o. He said day-o. I love the way she plays it, because it's like her eyes are like, what the fuck's going on? But she still has to do it. So it's like, you have to perform, but at the same time, like, her eyes are still like, I don't know what the hell's going on. After it's Harry Belafonte. And this is such a famous bit. Now, of course, it's also the comparison where these two ghosts are doing this to scare them. much more friendly, goofy, fun way, but trying to steer them. And then you see the way Beetlejuice does it, which is a much more intense, dangerous way. Lunge! We are coming. A foot, lunge! We are I can't, I gotta stop, okay. And then they tried to do it in the fucking sequel. Oh, there's a funeral and a Deo, and then the song at the end. Like, okay, if I type Beetlejuice Deo. Funeral scene they play it in. What's this? I forget, what was the song they play? Say they play in that. What was the? They do another dance. What song is that? MacArthur Park. Okay, no wonder I forgot it. So yeah, the Deo was done in the funeral scene, and then there is another dance scene, but it's MacArthur Park they use. But it's another fucking dance scene. Because the first one had a dance scene, just like we had a wedding scene. So this has a dance scene and a wedding scene at the same fucking time. And he's getting married to Lydia. Same fucking lady. How about you make it where you take a page from the cartoon and it's the Beetlejuice and Lydia having to go through the other world to rescue Lydia's daughter. And there's animosity between the two because of what Beetlejuice tried to do. And I don't know, then you could go from there. Be as creative as you want in whatever directions you want. Isn't it what they do? Oh. No, not really. Instead, like, Willem Dafoe's in there for no fucking reason, and then this girl is trying to kill Beetlejuice, but then she disappears for like half the fucking movie, and all this other bullshit. It's like trying to have 3-4 fucking ideas for stories thrust into one. Should have gone Hawaiian instead. For those who don't know, there was talks of a sequel called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, where Tim Smith tells the story where he's offered projects to write. Must we go Hawaiian? And one of the projects was Superman Lives, and then he got that, and then the whole John Peters, John Waters different, but John Peters, that whole thing, the Superman story, which one of the great Kevin Smith stories from the Evening with Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith talking about John Peters. But anyway. Yeah, great scene. I don't know why I kept thinking they were singing Deo, because they did do Deo in the funeral bit, and yeah, I forgot it was MacArthur Park. Does I want to wipe that movie out of my fucking brain so I don't remember the details? I know why you keep bringing up the sequel? Because it occurred, it exists. I'm just comparing how this film felt like the story was more focused. The story is focused on this back and forth between Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis and this family, which is Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, and Winona Ryder. And then Beetlejuice is getting put into the middle of it as they go back and forth. So it's more focused. It's 90-some minutes long. goes at it in a pace. His creativity and quirkiness and sense of humor. Good makeup effects. Great story by Danny Elfman. All these other elements put into it made it a film that, people, successful enough again. Video game, successful cartoon. Eventually a sequel, among other stuff. Merchandise. I always remember the music video for this when they're pulled up. I think like one was Alec Baldwin. So that was a deleted scene now that, wait, okay, like right here it'd be like Alec Baldwin, then it's like Harry Belafonte's face would be instead of Geena Davis. the music video for Deo for this. Which I think was on the VHS tape, or like the rental copy, where they would talk about the soundtrack. And they would show like snippets of the music video. And I'm trying to remember now if it was this. Sorry. Okay, here we see how Beetlejuice does things. Very cool design of this worm-like thing. I think it was going to be like vines or something. Like much more of a dangerous bit. But then they went with this because they wanted a bit more family, well, more family friendly than the original script, but you just see how things are much more intense and more dangerous. Which makes it worse because when they did it, oh, this is cute and interesting, and now this really prompts the exorcism later on, which gets our two characters into deeper shit. Very cool. I love the design of that. That's really neat. Reminds me a little bit of Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where you had the Freddy worm. Reminds me a little bit of that. Yeah, and I was looking real quick. The VHS of this had like a bunch of clips, and you buy the CD, the cassette, and the record of Beetlejuice, the soundtrack, and they have the snippets of the Dale music video. And yep, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, there was a special Warner Brothers cartoon thing with Daffy Duck, saying you should get some popcorn, soft drink, a Warner Brothers ball cap. And then Bugs Bunny comes in from the Warner Brothers catalog, necktie, and they tie him up. I said necktie. And gives the phone number. I wanted to make sure I remember that correctly, because I'm like, wasn't there a special thing with like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, yeah, so if you rented this on VHS back in the day, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck would try to sell you on the Warner Brothers catalog. And the pencil would erase and put stuff in. Like stuff you could get. That was cool to have little things like that. Yeah, it was advertising, but still a bit clever before the movie started. Now you have this stuff here, which a little bit risque. I don't know why Geena Davis assumed that Alec Baldwin made that. Why'd you put that in there? I didn't. Why would he assume that? But, and I like the suit Michael Keaton wore with all the spikes and stuff. Again, creative. Even the stuff here with like the football players that died in the bus crash, and You see them later on in the dance bit with Lydia. I'm not your coach. He survived. I never noticed the background of Alec Baldwin and them. You see like skeletons. Yeah, you see like some red skeleton, and some other people. And there's a few people like moving. I was trying to see if the skeletons moved at all. That'd be cool if like the skeleton like tried to smoke a cigarette or something, even though it has no lungs. God, what are those bathrobe pajamas, however you want to call it? And what did he do? Take a shower there or something? So he just was able to come out in this fucking bathrobe, kimono, whatever the fuck he has on? See, here she's depressed because of the banality of real life. You know what I mean? The the supernatural stuff intrigues her more. Doesn't she say she wants to be dead like them and be with them? Pretty much. And then Geena Davis says to talk her down. No, you don't want to be that. Sorry, when I keep going back, I'm trying to study the window behind them. Now these are neat designs. It's sad that they're not used that long. Like this right here, which I believe, like if you get power ups in the Nintendo game, they look like these. Like one power up looks like this head, and I'm not sure if the other one looks like her. But I think that one of the power ups, I don't know, like I forget. Like you get these flies, you can buy power ups and stuff. Like these, like look how the designs of these. Like look at that. That is insane. The Geena Davis one especially. I'm like, what the fuck? And again, it's sad that you don't get to see these too long. I know this football player. I've seen him in other stuff. Was it Summer School? I swear that guy was in Summer School. He was the guy that they said I failed. They were wrong. And then he like never showed up for the rest of summer school. I could be wrong, but I swear that's him. I'm the ghost with the most, baby. See, he's so good. Some may say he's in this enough. That's really one of my only. Now, see, how small would that bud be if it's that small for him? Like, if he's this big, then how tiny is that bud? Was it like a flea? Did he kill a? Did he eat a flea? Maybe he ate a flea. I don't know. I don't think it looked like a flea, but whatever. But I wanted to see more of him. I wanted to see more of him in the movie. I mean, if you told me they're gonna make a sequel to this in 1991, I would have been gun ho about it. No pun intended, because he started a movie called Gun Ho. But, well, let's see. Edward Scissorhands was around 92 as Batman Returns, so yeah, there's that. But, yeah, I would have been out just too long, yeah. I would say too late, but they did it and made a lot of money, so. And I kind of like this scene here because you think she's going to be the one to accidentally or some other reason say Beetlejuice, screw up, mess up, but she's able to figure it out and go, wait a minute, and stop herself. So now we're in kind of a more interesting detail of, okay, what's going to happen next. Like I said, I mean, those were cool designs, and sadly they were not in it as much. I just to be fair, like, what more could you do with those? I mean, what, you don't fight Beetlejuice while having these things on? I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I'm not saying anything. I'm just watching the film now. So this plan, like, to make like a, I don't want to say amusement park, but just whatever the fuck business be, trying to get more of a bureaucracy of it all. Another way to make money. I mean, hey, if there's something found out, trust me, there's going to be someone going to try to make money off it. That's pretty realistic. Let me look on IMDb and see if there's any trivia, just out of curiosity. I mean, this is what it says here. I'll put it that way. Whether it's true, make up your own mind. But this is what it says on here. It says Michael Keaton came up with much of the character's look himself. He told the makeup department he wanted mold on his face and his hair looking as if he stuck his finger in an electric socket. He requested the wardrobe department send him clothes from all different time periods. I have heard that Michael Keaton considers this his favorite film that he's done. As a joke, Tim Burton suggested the name Steered Sheetless, was horrified when the studio actually considered using it. I don't know if that's true, but it's pretty funny. It says here Michael Keaton ad-libbed a lot of his lines. And he says that Tim Burton described the character to him as having lived in every time period but no time period. This film was the first DVD sent out by Netflix in 1998? Really? Huh. According to Winona Ryder, in a YouTube interview at the very beginning, she went to the sound stages to meet Tim Burton. A guy walked in who she thought was from the art department, and they talked for a while about things like Edward Gorey and different movies. After a half hour, she asked if he knew when Burton was going to show up, and he said, "Oh, that's me," and she was blown away. She had an image in her mind at the time of a director being much older and more traditional. She felt so comfortable with him. At the end of their talking together, he let her know that he wanted her to do it, and she was very excited. The visual effects budget was just $1 million, a major factor in Tim Burton deciding to make the effects look as tacky and B-movie as possible. But I think they look good. I don't think they look tacky. I wouldn't consider it tacky. I think they look pretty good. Let's see. Set in Connecticut, the movie was filmed in the small town of East Corinth, Vermont. A small creek which runs through the town was dammed up to provide deeper water for the covered bridge scene. The bridge was built on Chicken Farm Road near the village. The Maitland's house was a facade built in a farm field 100 yards uphill from the bridge for exterior shots only. The town post office, the nice building with the bad roof, is visible from the field. So apparently Alyssa Milano was up for Lydia, but Winona Ryder won the part. Huh. So there you go. But I'll get back to the movie. I just want to look up a few things there. Love his suit. Such a great suit. The black and white, which of course you see on the poster. So you know eventually he was going to have to wear this. But very memorable suit. I think it works very well. And it's weird, like the lines he has, you know, I'm the ghost with the most. It's showtime. They People still remember him to this day. I think just his delivery of the lines, how popular the movie was in terms of pulp culture and such. And again, some could argue that he's in this the right amount because when he pops up, you remember it. Make each point memorable. Again, I like him so much, I want to see more of him in the movie in a way. Or in a good sequel, but, you know. Each moment works. So this whole thing here, I'm laughing because the end result when they fly off, it's such a fun visual gag. I don't know why Robert Goulet, they're so happy to, I guess because, oh wow, this guy is, you know, he was telling the truth. There is this supernatural thing. Or they think it's like a magic trick or something. I guess. It's like magic. Don't know what happened to them. I like here that the worst thing is just a different crappy clothes for Otho. Again, his worst nightmare is just how horrific these clothes are. And they would do the same thing here as they would do in the fucking sequel. He turns and he's in that outfit. She's in red. Wedding. Like, the same fucking ending? Really, guys? That's the best you got for all these ideas you do for sequels? Really? Like, that's the best you got. Let's have another wedding. Another worm. That just fucking dumbfounds me, man. Like, here you got at least some fun, like, claymation stuff here. Or a stop motion. Keep saying it's claymation. Stop motion. Which I think looks neat. I don't know why, for some reason, I thought I was going to yank her head off. I think the first time I saw it, I don't know why, because it's not that kind of movie, but. And then this here. I've heard this is actually Tony Cox in the suit. Which Tony Cox, I believe he's the Billy Bob Thornton's assistant, you know, the elf, you know, to Billy Bob Santa and Bad Santa. I could be wrong, but I think I've heard that's Tony Cox in there. Not his voice, but him in the suit. I do think it's a cool design of the creature. Like, look at all this stuff. I mean, fucking teeth on their own. The zipper thing here. Which I swear they do something similar to that in the sequel. Zip the mouth and it's a fucking either the zipper or the plate. I don't know why they have to hesitate saying Beetlejuice, pause. Beetlejuice, pause. Like, just say Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Just say it quickly. Like, I don't know why. And why can't she say Beetlejuice right now, Lydia? I guess the same person has to say Beetlejuice, to be fair, I guess. But it's like, why do people like Beetlejuice then pause? Just say it quickly. Because it's a movie, that's why. Why a toy car can drive like a real car, I don't know. Do toy cars have gas? Like gasoline and engines to drive like that? And how did she know? How did she do this? Like, how? I mean, again, it's fantasy. You could question things. Again, how does a toy car have an engine and gasoline to drive off the fucking thing to hit Beetlejuice's shoe and foot? How the fuck did Geena Davis rainbow and ride a fucking sandworm and somehow get to hear through the roof? I don't fucking know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a movie. See, she's pretty fucking happy here. I don't see no goddamn. Well, yeah, people. Well, PTSD. Some people it triggers later in life. To be fair, I'm just saying. She is at school. Looks like she has friends. Friendly with these two ghosts. Gets to dance and do stuff with the other football girl. I mean, I'm just saying. As a movie, as people who are fans, you see one version, then you see another that's totally disconnected, and you don't really see the Venn diagram of how one led to the other. You just. That's just me, I guess. Harmonious lifestyles and coexistence. Of course, we get one final bit with Beetlejuice, which is pretty. How long has this been fucking guy waiting? This damn voodoo pinhead guy. He's still waiting this whole goddamn time. As if he wouldn't notice that. And he's like, okay, if that's how you want to play it. I love how he's like, he knows just what to do. Why the football players are here, I don't know. I guess as a dad, I don't know. Oh, there you go, Tony Cox. Right there in the credits, Tony Cox. Again, I think the same Tony Cox who was in Bad Santa, well, 1 and 2 with Billy Bob Thornton, more so in the first one. But yeah, that's Beetlejuice. 90 minutes long, went at a good pace, still enjoyable, still fun, still a worthy movie to watch. They don't, I mean, I know I'm the old guy yelling at the clouds about new films today, but because I grew up with movies like this, with the movies I grew up with, to me the golden time of movies were the 80s and 90s for me. And I literally do get depressed about the state of movies today. I do. Like, if I look up the films of this year, right? Just this year. And we got I Know What You Did Last Summer, the Legacy sequel. Maiden 2.0. Jurassic Part 7. We got fucking Thunderbolts and Final Destination 6 or whatever the fuck they're on now. We have films like Minecraft and 3 Popeye horror films and Leprechaun the Beginning and Snow White and this kind of shit. Wasn't the Stallone film Alarum this year? Yeah, it was. It's depressing. It's fucking depressing. It is depressing. And you just sit there and go, like, this is what we have now. This is what we have now. Alien Earth. It's a TV show. But, like, that's what we have. That's what we have. And it just... You're sitting there going, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? You are serious. Okay. Well, just... And that's not even all the films. Are there ones that I like? Sure. Caught Stealing, Hard Eyes, Fight or Flight, a few others. Magazine Dreams I liked. But I mean, they're few and far in between compared to today. And just, again, even with the sequel they made, you do not get films like this anymore that has a sense of fun, energy, creativity, and films that become those fun classics. You just don't get that today. And I mean, I don't think it'll go back to that. It won't. People thinking and hoping it will. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's frankly not. It's just not. And that's the facts. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks once again, Shawn. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.